It's the battle for the bell in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, as the Gateway Gators take on the Penn Trafford Warriors in a WPIAL 5A Big East Conference matchup. We welcome you to Pete Antamarino Stadium, where two teams look to secure their spot in the WPIAL 5A playoffs coming up just down the road. Adam Gusky, Vince Russo on the call for you here this evening. And Vince, as we take a look at this football game, a couple of pretty evenly matched teams, both teams coming off of big victories.
Yeah, not to mention two teams that you throw the record books out, and every year this game so competitive, so close. The last two by a combined 15 points. I think we'll have another really good one tonight. But yeah, Adam, both teams coming off big wins. The Gators getting into the win column again in conference play. A very complete performance against Armstrong, in which they were never really in doubt of losing that game. 48-20 winners. On the other side, a 34-10 win over Plum. For Penn Trafford, a team the Gators struggled with early in the season, the Mustangs. So it'll be interesting to see how these two match up tonight.
As we take a look again back to last week, one player that really shone brightly for the Gators was their freshman quarterback, Elvis Kuchakas. He was spectacular, 377 yards, and he was throwing the ball all over the field. 5
touchdowns, looked very, very composed and poised, coming back from injury for a second time this year.
Furs.
We got the official mic working tonight. That's always a good sign early. Got my blood pumping early, but here we go. Should be a great test for this freshman tonight. Penn Trafford always so physical defensively, and it's going to be interesting to see how he handles a big-time rivalry game as a true freshman in this contest.
On the other side of the ball, the offensive side, Tasso Whipple, he can certainly run the ball well for Penn Trafford. We saw it last season. We'll see it again tonight.
Yeah, and he's even added in the wrinkle of receiving out of the backfield. Had a long receiving touchdown earlier this season. Over 1,100 total yards. He's on pace to break his total from last season. He's going to be the go-to bell cow for this offense. Derek Carr will also get some carries in the backfield, but Tasso Whipple is going to be the guy that they're going to hang their hat on, and as he goes, this Penn Trafford offense will go as well.
And the Warriors also have a very formidable quarterback that the Gators are going to have to deal with Louver.
Yeah, Louver, a known commodity for the Gators, just like Whipple, guys that played well last year. Louver had over 260 passing yards in this game last year as Penn Trafford furiously tried to come from behind in a game that the Gators built some separation early, then had to hang on late, included an onside kick recovery for the Warriors. They'll try and get out to an early lead here tonight, but Gators have first crack at it here with the ball.
So like you said, Vince, it will be the Gators who will receive to begin this football game.
On his own 30-yard line.
Kicking off for the Warriors, Jack Miller, the freshman.
Are back for the Gators.
And we are underway in Monroeville, PA. A bouncing kick that'll go to one of the up men and will be returned. Coming to the near side and being brought down near the 30-yard line is Dan Sear. A gang of white jerseys there. Bottom of the pile, Colin Tyberski.
Decent field position, and the Gators have so many guys that have touched the ball this season. They've done a really good job of spreading the wealth offensively. Kuchakas completing passes to over a half a dozen different guys last week, and Dan Sear, one of those guys that has had the ball in his hands offensively, so they're on special teams, not afraid to take it, get upfield, gain a few yards. The Gators with decent field position to start their first drive.
Elvis Kuchakas is in the shotgun, ball's on the near side left. Pass goes to the right-hand side. It's complete to S.J. Moorfield, who's wearing number 4 tonight. Now, don't forget Kenny Lewis, who would have worn number 4 this season, out for the year. An issue maybe with the gray jersey wearing number 3. So we'll see S.J. catching the football wearing number 4 this evening.
Nice play-action fake. You see one of our camera operators getting faked out there as well. Really nice job by Kuchakas, who then, I like that design. Easy throw, gets him in rhythm here early.
It's going to be a false start against the Gators. Some movement up front is the official on the far side.
Number 78. It's a 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Frustrating there. You get a nice gain on first down. 2nd and 3. You can really open up the playbook, do a lot of different things. Now, back at 2nd and 8. Can't beat yourself. Got to be a tough team to play against. Gators made some miscues last week with penalties and turnovers, and You hate to see the laundry on the field making things harder than it needs to be for this offense.
So 2nd down and 8. S.J. Moorfield motions out of the backfield. Handoff goes to Gans, who leads the Gators in yards from scrimmage, but he only picks up 2 there, and that brings up 3rd down and 6.
It's a physical Warriors defense. In their wins this season, they're allowing just 8 points against defensively. Been playing better as of late. That's always a hallmark. Penn Trafford, they want to be the more physical team. That time, able to stymie the attack. Only 2 yards for Gans.
So 3rd and 6, Kuchakas finds S.J. Moorfield for a Gators first down across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
Great route. Good job finding the soft spot, securing the ball, making the catch. Good ball by Kuchakas. A little bit of traffic there. You see he's able to fit that one in between 5 different white jerseys. Gators able to move the chains.
1st and 10 from the 46. Off of play action, Kuchakas flush left. Tosses well too high for S.J. Moorfield. And it's Morty Ivy on the near sideline with the tip drill.
Good job by Moorfield coming back to the ball. You'll see right here, if he can bring that down a little bit, Kuchakas has Moorfield along the sidelines for what would have been another first down for the Gators. Just airmailed that one a little.
2nd and long for the Gators again. Pitch forward to Gans. Gans, he's got the first down and more as he's wrestled down inside of Warriors territory at the 41-yard line. Down at the bottom of the pile is Tasso Whipple for the team in white, the Penn Trafford Warriors.
It was effectively a draw play, just with a little shovel pass there by Kuchakas. I like that play design.
Some movement by the Warriors' defensive front. They don't breach the neutral zone, though. Plenty of time on the play clock. This time the handoff. Blockers out in front of Gans. He picks up modest yardage inside of the 40 to the 39-yard line, so a pickup of just 2.
I like them sticking with the run and having balance here. Keeps them unpredictable offensively. You don't want to become one-dimensional. Even though they're moving the ball really well through the air right now, staying committed to the ground game, if they're able to continue to establish a presence at the line of scrimmage, Gans is someone who is harder to tackle as the game goes on. He's a physical back.
2nd and 8, Moorfield in motion, play action. Kuchakas rolls left to the short side of the field and will toss it into the Gators' sideline, incomplete. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 8. So a long yardage challenge here for Gateway.
Nothing going there. Good coverage by Penn Trafford. They don't fall for the fake. You see there, not a whole lot happening. Kuchakas just has to throw that one away, live to fight another down. Like you said, Adam, not quite into what you'd think would be 4-down territory here, so important as they call a timeout to make sure you got things set up for this big 3rd down play.
Timeout, Gateway, they're first.
Well, like you said, Vince, before the game, during our pregame show, the officials' mic's working. The problem is I tested it without it being in my mouth, number 1, and number 2, without shouting. Like our official is. So we're trying to get that balance for you as the game progresses. Want to thank you for joining us here on GatewayGatorProductions.com. 8:52 to play in a scoreless first quarter. Beautiful night, and our weather has just been remarkable this season. I mean, last week, granted, it was windy and there was some pregame rain, but, save that. It has just been a spectacular season thus far for high school football weather-wise. 72 degrees, humidity under 50%, light winds. You can't ask for much better on October 4th.
And we're undercover, but for our camera operators that are out on the deck, especially good for them as they get to bask in a nice fall evening without any precipitation or wind, anything like that. It's beautiful.
3rd down and 8 as some flags fly here. And in all likelihood, this is going to be against the Gators, and if so, That is bad news, especially when you come out of a timeout.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Dead ball. False start. Left. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Unbelievably frustrating for Don Hall and the coaching staff. You take that time, try to get guys dialed in, focused, then to come out and have a procedural penalty is the last thing you want. Makes it just that much harder, and definitely not 4-down territory now. If they don't pick it up here, they're going to have to punt.
So 3rd and 13. Kuchakas rolls right, picks up a block from Moorfield. He's got some decent positive yardage and the prettiest slide we've seen from him this season, and it was still uglier than sin as he slides down at the 35, and that'll be 4th and short.
So odd that that's the one wrinkle in his game that he still has to iron out, is just learning how to slide. But good mobility there. It wasn't quite as bad looking at the replay, but great job picking up enough yardage there to make this truly 4-down territory. If you give it back around the 35, you trust your defense to make a play and get off the field. Now you get a chance to try and pick this up on 4th and medium.
Kuchakas has some room to the right, steps forward, hit at the line of scrimmage, turnover on downs.
Fantastic closing speed there by the defender for Penn Trafford, number 54, Stu Peffel, the senior defensive lineman. It looked like for a moment Kuchakas was going to have enough to get the job done. Actually, that's number 34, excuse me, Tasso Whipple, making plays on both sides of the ball. Let's see if they give it right to him after the momentum he generated with the big 4th down tackle.
So here comes Whipple running to the right on their first play from scrimmage, and he will be wrestled and brought down. Open field tackle made by Jaden Stammer.
Yeah, and a good follow-up by a host of other Gators, including Mark Knight, Sid Bryant, the usual suspects.
2nd down, 5.
And a good 1st down gain there. That's exactly what the Warriors want to do. They don't mind taking little chunks out on the ground.
For the Warriors.
Staying on schedule, keeping that ball moving, playing keep away.
Handoff again to Whipple, running to the right, driving his way forward, close to the 1st down marker. The line to gain was the 45, and it looks like he got there.
He did. Nice second effort. See here, absorbs the hit. Able to get past Mark Knight for a second. Then coming up, laying the boom there for the Gators. Jackson Smith. Whipple, one of those backs that always seems to fall forward at the end of plays. That's such a strong indicator of a solid running back. It's an empty set here now for Penn Trafford on 1st down.
Louver looking left, throwing left, and the pass is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Cheplik, and that hits the turf. There was a Gator nearby, but it falls to the turf, incomplete, and brings up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, Jackson Smith read that one really well. Gators not fooled on that. But all for naught as that one harmlessly through the hands of the intended receiver.
New quarterback in, Derek Carr. Talked about Carr being more of a running threat before the game. And he is going to hand off. Cheplik bouncing it to the left-hand side. S.J. Moorfield was out there on the edge to make the first contact. Gain of just 2 brings up 3rd down and 8.
Moorfield. 3rd down.
That's exactly what you want to do if you're the Gators. Force Penn Trafford into high likelihood of passing here on 3rd and 8. Get them out of their comfort zone, which is downhill running. You start to kind of regret that passing play on 1st down. It took you off schedule. Now forced you into a place you don't want to be.
High snap. Pass complete. Louver finds a receiver who's out into open field. That's Weishar. Weishar down the far boundary and into the end zone for a Penn Trafford touchdown covering 53 yards.
Lysar for the touchdown.
Carlos Diggs just got burnt on that one. You see here he bites, goes in front of the receiver, and then there's no one home behind him. If you're Diggs, can't let that happen. And then good speed there by Weishar. Just enough to be able to outrun S.J. Moorfield.
Flag flies from the far sideline. I think Gateway may have actually been in the neutral zone there. So this will push the ball a bit closer to the goal line. As Logan Hunter is on to attempt the PAT,
Ball.
at least initially.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 4. Half the distance to the goal. Read 5.
You're right on it there, Adam. And what a change in momentum quickly. The Gators were humming along offensively, moving the ball. They get stymied on the 4th down play inside plus territory. And a big broken play the other way. And the Warriors strike first.
So now it's Derek Carr who lines up at quarterback. He'll run the option left. He'll lower the shoulders and take it in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And just over 6 minutes into the first quarter, Penn Trafford strikes first on the 53-yard touchdown, followed up by the 2-point conversion.
It's the little things, right? We saw a safety and a missed extra point be big differences in a 2-point loss for the Gators here at home against Franklin Regional. There you get the encroachment penalty, and it goes from a PAT to a 2-point try that Penn Trafford executes. So now it's 8-0 instead of 7. All these things add up for the Gators, and that's what we've talked about all season. The margin for error in a loaded 5A. And this is a big game. You've got 2 undefeated teams at the top of the conference in Franklin Regional and Woodland Hills in conference play, and then both Penn Trafford and Gateway here with 1 loss apiece. Whoever loses this game starts to get a little queasy that they might have to hope for a wild card, as the top 3 teams in the conference we talked about off the air just with our crew before the game make the postseason.
This is a deeper kick that will be returned. It's Jackson Smith, the linebacker, out across the 35 before he is brought down.
Jackson Smith.
Tackle made by Tyler Boss.
Tackled by Boss. First
See
down
if
Gators.
the Gators can get the bad taste out of their mouth after coming up short offensively and then getting burnt defensively. Before that, they were mixing up the run and the pass, moving the ball pretty well. You also don't need to get it all back here in one play. I like the balance they showed in the first drive. I hope they continue that.
Kachakis, play action. Rolls near side, completes it to S.J. Moorfield. They were trying to set up a bit of a wide receiver screen there, but Penn Trafford was all over that one as the tackle was made by Brady Newell.
It just took too long to develop.
Second down, 11.
And Moorfield sort of backed into the defensive back, and he's lucky he hung on to that one. He did not see that hit coming. It was a blindside hit. And if you're Kachakis, you don't want to lead your receivers into those kind of hits.
Handoff goes to Gans. Gans cuts his field back, drives his way across the line of scrimmage, and out towards the 45. They'll say his forward progress is stalled at the 39, not the 45. So it will be third down and 7 for Gateway. The ball would come loose, but long after the whistles had blown.
The Gators would do well for themselves to keep the chains moving here and to keep Penn Trafford's offense off the field. Momentum with the Warriors right now after that big broken play for the long touchdown.
Three-man rush plus a blitz. Kachakis tossing it to S.J. Moorfield and overthrows him by a decent amount. That's the second time where Kachakas has overthrown Moorfield. And that brings up 4th and 7, and the punt unit's going to have to come on.
That was going to be a bit of a tight window. Moorfield had a step on the defender there, but just a little too much on that one. And now the Gators got to go back to work defensively after a 3 and out. Try to keep this a 1-score game early.
2 return men back for Penn Trafford is Sid Bryant is the punter for the Gators. Snap a little high, but Sid's able to gather that one in. Low end-over-end punt takes a bounce in favor of the Gators and will continue to roll in Gateway's favor to the 31 before ultimately being covered up by Terrence Cole.
Terrence Cole, first down for the Warriors.
Decent punt for the Gators. Now a semi-long field to go for the Warriors, but gotta sure things up in the secondary. See if they try to go towards touchdown receiver Weishar again after he showed some real speed on that touchdown.
High snap. Whipple running left. He's met at the line of scrimmage. Still picks up some positive yardage as Kanan Bandy makes the stop for the Gators.
Whipple 163 yards, 3 touchdowns last week on runs of 5, 56, and 68 yards. Louver had an easy go of it. It was 10 of 11 for 140 yards and a touchdown against Plum. Talked about it. Louver with 253 and a touchdown last year in this game. Whipple had 179 yards on 25 carries and a couple touchdowns, then a 73-yard reception and a touchdown in that Battle of the Bell last year.
Louver's going to hand off. Whipple running to the right, cuts it back inside, keeps those powerful legs driving to the 40-yard line, and it'll be 3rd and a very manageable 1 as Mark Knight, amongst others, in on the stop.
Short of the first down.
Very rarely do we see the linebackers not be the ones initiating the contact on plays for the Gators, but that time Whipple able to cut that one back, and there was no one home for the Gators. And a nice avenue, good vision by Whipple to take what looked like it was going to be another 3rd and long into 3rd and, as you said, very manageable here.
Louver going to step under center. Lowers the shoulder, drives his way forward, picks up first down yardage and much, much more, dragging Gators into Gateway territory where Louver is finally brought down at the 47-yard line.
A lot of times a quarterback will get what they need for that first down and then just fall. That time nobody wrapped up Louver, so he just kept moving.
So Derek Carr comes in, and in all likelihood, they're going to go to the ground here with Carr, but you can't be lulled to sleep with Ruane bringing Carr in. At some point, you've got to assume Carr may throw the football. But he will run this time, and he's got nowhere to go. Craig Schultz from the right defensive end spot comes down the line and makes the play.
Plays like that so crucial for this Gators defense early in the down and distance. Again, we talked about, even though the Gators got gashed on the pass play the last drive, you want to try and force this Penn Trafford into must-pass situations. Their bread and butter is definitely the downhill running attack with Tasso Whipple. So anything you can do to try and get them out of their rhythm. Plays like that, huge for this Gators defense.
Louver back in at QB in the pistol with Whipple behind him. Play action. Louver throws across the middle, and that one is intercepted. Leaping up, Jaden Stammer. And Stammer with a big defensive play in Monroeville for a change after he has been lights out up the Allegheny Valley at Kiski and Armstrong.
Brought some of that momentum back with him after interception last week. Great extension there to high point the ball, and right on cue, talked about it. Try and get Penn Trafford in situations where they get away from what's most comfortable for them offensively, and good things just might happen. And that time, Stammer able to nullify what was turning into a nice little drive there for the Warriors, and now some momentum for the Gators with an opportunity to go down and try and tie this one up.
And this is a very pivotal drive for the Gateway offense. They showed they were able to move the ball on the first drive. Were stymied in the second drive. Unfortunately, the first drive resulted in a turnover on downs, and Penn Trafford made short work of it to turn it into the first points of the game. And now the Gators have another shot from their own 25. The flag will come in as a delay of game against the Gators.
The ball, game, offense, number 7. It's a 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know, one of the big things we talked about last week, Adam, was that the Gators could get away with some of these things against competition like Armstrong, but that these would be amplified in games like this against quality programs that have a tradition of winning like Penn Trafford does. We've seen some of these procedural penalties really wreak some havoc on Gators' momentum offensively early in this one.
So the officials calling a meeting here. This issue may be the way they are resetting the play clock.
Clock, game clock, 56 seconds, 56 seconds, 5, 6.
The louder he yells, the less the mic will work. Anyway, it's first down and 15. They're asking for 56 seconds on the clock, not 46 seconds on the clock. There we go. Got that righted. And first and 15, here we go. Play action by Kachakis, has some time. Tosses it complete, Jaden Stammer, and then he dropped it. As he rolled over, he couldn't hang on to the football.
Kachakis' pass is incomplete.
We saw that
Second down.
become more of an issue in the second half of last week's game. Drops across the receiving core for the Gateway Gators. And again, they had put up enough points at that point that it really didn't matter, but early deficit in this game, that would have been another one that could have moved the chains, and now you're in a second and long situation.
Kachakis looking left the whole way, now flushed out of the pocket with some pressure. Steps forward across the 20, and out of bounds he will go, out towards the 23-yard line.
Kachakis around left end.
So he picks up a few yards from the penalty that preceded first down, but it's still 3rd and a dozen.
That brings up 3rd down.
And not enough time. If he would have had a few more seconds, Stammer was streaking across the middle of the field open again. But credit to Penn Trafford and the pressure they've been able to generate. Forced Kachakis out of the pocket. He never really had enough time to get his eyes back downfield and just had to try and make something out of nothing there.
3rd and 12. True snap. Kachakis tossing, pass tipped, and will fall to the turf incomplete. He was looking for Dyson Harper, but a defender got in the way. That one was broken up by Stickle. Landon Stickle, the 5'11 sophomore.
Strong defensive stand there for Penn Trafford after the turnover. Getting the 3 and out once again. The Gators offense looking a bit disjointed. With the return man at around midfield, Penn Trafford likely going to end up with really good field position here.
Another end-over-end punt for Sid Bryant that will take a very nice Gateway roll, rolling the ball inside of the 35 to the 34-yard line. So still 66 yards away from pay dirt for Penn Trafford. But you have to remember their first drive started at the 35 after a turnover on downs, and they made short work of it and ultimately scored on a 53-yard touchdown pass.
That's been the 2 plays that really have been the big differentiators in this game. The Gators coming up short on that first drive, and then the subsequent big play on offense, getting behind Diggs and company and getting to the end zone.
Re-entry is not permitted. Gateway has a no re-entry policy.
1st and 10. Louver pressured, rolls right, steps forward. Low pass is incomplete as he was looking for Whipple as the safety valve coming across from that left-hand side on the coverage, Sid Bryant.
Louver had plenty of time to throw before Schultz started to apply the pressure. Credit to Penn Trafford and the work they've done in the trenches. They've generated pressure on defense, and then on offense, they've had time to sit and scan the field. That's something the Gators wanted to hang their hat on this season, was that play in the trenches. But thus far, line of scrimmage being controlled by the guys in the white jerseys.
Carr, the QB, running left, picks up a block from Whipple. Craig Schultz riding his back, and a nice run there by Derek Carr as he took some black or dark gray jerseys, as it were, with him to make it third and manageable. Again, third down and about 3 this time.
They just keep pumping those legs. I mean, if you're a coach, that's what you want to see, is runners that just refuse to quit on a play and try and get every single yard out of it. Penn Trafford always seems to have guys that are able to have that strong second effort. And you see that turn to 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 into a 3rd and 3 now as we wrap up the first quarter. Penn Trafford once again moving the ball.
Before today's football game, Gateway honored Tom LaBeouf, track and field and cross country coach here at Gateway for the last 50 years. And it was great to see he and his family out there, as they have named the track after him here in Monroeville.
Yeah, LaBeouf, a student at Gateway in the late 60s, graduated with honors in 1969, ran cross country and wrestled. Was a part of the 67 boys cross country team that captured the PIAA championship and was inducted into the Gateway Sports Hall of Fame last November. So the accolades racking up for LaBeouf and company. He became the boys cross country coach in 1976, a couple months after he helped the boys track team to a WPIAL championship. And then added boys track in 1978, girls cross country in 79, and then unified track coaching position in 1992. Also coached junior high wrestling for 26 years. I saw this and definitely wanted to highlight, with his resume being a mile long, filled with WPIAL, PIAA team championships, top 5 finishes. It is estimated that he has more than 1,000. He's coached more than 1,000 individual WPIAL qualifiers in cross country and track and field, and close to 500 WPIAL qualifiers and 300 PIAA qualifiers. Unreal.
So it's 3rd down and 3. Louver tossing to the right. It is complete for a first down to Weishar. Weishar, who has the touchdown catch today, picks up that first down for the Warriors.
That's good enough for Warriors.
Simple pitch and catch. Good tackle in the open field, but not before the damage was done. Weishar, his top target, 22 receptions, 277 yards, 4 touchdowns. Coming into this contest already, off to a strong start in this one.
Warriors motioning 2 receivers to the right. High snap, handoff. Whipple running right, has a crease, picks up positive yardage, pushing the pile inside of the 50, and he'll be brought down inside of Gators territory. They'll mark it at the 46, maybe the 45. That'll depend on the spot from the far side, but regardless, it's second and very manageable.
And the Gators are going to have to find a way to try and get to Whipple before he's getting to the second layer of that defense. As if they keep ending up with second and third short situations like they have here early in this game, they're going to be able to play keep away with this ball, keep the Gators offense off the field, and continue to move that ball with ease.
High snap, Carr gathers it in as he's back in at QB, and he picks up the first down. Picks up 3 when the Warriors needed 2, and that's enough for the first down. As the Gators were there to make the stop, but not before another first down. Fisher with that tackle.
Again, that's the byproduct of big gains on first down, is even when the Gators limit the Warriors to a short gain. They're in a situation where they don't need all that much to move the chains.
Little RPO there. Handoff goes to Whipple. He'll drive his way to the 40 and then is driven back
Whipple over the middle.
by several Gateway Gators. His Gateway was not going to be taken for a ride that time.
Second down.
Elijah Fisher amongst others in on that stop, and it's 2nd and 8.
Yeah, strong group tackling there by the Gators. Helmets on helmets, meeting them at the point of attack. Now you set yourself up again, trying to get into 2nd, 3rd long situations, force them into passing downs. Last time they did that, they would come away with a big takeaway.
Handoff, Whipple running right. He's got a big crease. He's off to the races down the far boundary inside of the 20, the 15 to 10. Tiptoes his way down the sideline. Will the officials say he steps out? They'll say he goes out at the 1, so no touchdown, but a big gain there, and it's 1st and goal.
Whipple deceptively fast. Good vision, great blocking. Almost wins the foot race here. That push at the end by Stammer, able to save the touchdown, but Gators with their backs right up against the wall now with 1st and goal. Ball nestled there right on the right hash, 1 yard line.
Carr under center. Hands off Whipple. Whipple met in the backfield by Schultz, and it doesn't look like he gets any surge to the goal line, so he's brought down short by Jackson, also in on that stop. So that brings up 2nd and goal from the 1.
Strong play, good job going low, taking out the legs of the running back. Whipple. Penn Trafford, one of the few teams we've seen this season with the ability to go under center here in the I formation.
So now it's Louver who steps under center. He'll run to the right. He'll drive the pile with a little push to go along with it. And a 1-yard touchdown, and it's a 2-score game. Penn Trafford on top of Gateway 14-0.
Tough in a goal-to-go situation like that to ask your defense to very likely stop a team from gaining a yard 4 consecutive times. They're able to do it the first time, but good push there initially, and then a couple backs coming in and pushing Louver across.
Logan Hunter looks to make it a 15-point affair. Good snap, hold down, kick up, and that PAT is good. 8:44 to play here in the 2nd quarter, and Penn Trafford on top of Gateway 15-0.
We'll learn a lot about this Gators team now. They rebounded nicely from a couple early season losses against really tough 6A opponents. They dug a big hole against Franklin Regional, almost came the full way back. Here in a big-time rivalry game, down a couple scores on your own turf here early in the 2nd quarter. Can this offense find the spark they had that first drive before getting stopped on 4th down and move this ball a little bit?
And a spark not just from the first drive today, but all game last week. I mean, with the exception of the handful of turnovers on downs in the red zone or inside of the 30 for the Armstrong Riverhawks. Gateway was able to move the ball at will.
Yeah, especially through the passing game. We talked about Kuchakis with the 377 yards, able to spread the wealth between Moorfield, Harper, Casey Carter. Mari Gans caught a touchdown pass. See another look there at the long run that set up the touchdown.
And I think what was most remarkable about the way Kuchakis played last week with that 377 yards in the air is that he did it in a game that was, riddled with wind all evening long as this kick bounces into the hand of the Gateway return man, S.J. Moorfield. He's out across the 50 and forced out of bounds inside of Warriors territory around the 43-yard line. But, of course, if there's a big play, there's a flag. And this one's going to go against the Gators right near midfield, and we'll push the ball back probably to around the 40. So it's only going to negate about 17 yards or so.
The return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Gateway.
See if we can see the guilty culprit. A shame to see that return by Moorfield nullified at least a little bit. Crowd getting animated because the officials were marching the wrong way. They were giving the Gators yards there. Now they'll figure it out.
And they'll set the ball at the 40. So still decent field position for the Gators.
Down a couple scores. This feels like a really crucial possession for the Gators to try and come away with some points here.
Handoff. Gans tries to go left. Penn Trafford closed that hole quickly. Pickup of just about 2 before he is driven back.
27, Yurt.
Brandon Long, 6'3" senior, leading the charge on that tackle.
Gans leading the Gators with 10 touchdowns, had another 3 last week. 621 yards from scrimmage through 6 games, averaging over 100 yards per game as both a runner and a receiver.
They end up crediting Gans with 3 on that play, so it's 2nd down and 7. Gators motion to an empty set, forward pitch. S.J. Moorfield running right, trying to cut it back left, and pulls a Warrior with him and picks up some extra yardage as Stu File goes for the ride, and it brings up 3rd and a very manageable 1.
By 54.
And Moorfield very nearly pushing his way, keeping those legs moving. See, the ball popped out there after he was down, but a good second effort to make this 3rd and very short.
Handoff. Gans picks up the 1st down, breaks tackles, carries another tackler with him. It's File again who makes the stop, but not before Gans gets inside of Warriors territory to the 40.
Real nice run there. We don't ever really see the Gators go run heavy. They love to air the ball out. But now a couple, the last one was a shovel pass, kind of a pseudo run. A little bit of push here. See if they keep it on the ground.
And they will. Gans trying to go left. Had some room to bounce it out to the left side, but instead drives his way forward and picks up 3 to the 37-yard line.
If you enter inside the 40, down 2 scores, you assume this is 4-down territory. So 3 yards keeps you right on track.
2nd down.
Handoff. Gans slide steps his way around a couple of tacklers, pulls some white jerseys with him for a gateway 1st down to the 25. And it looks like the Gators got something going on the ground.
They do. We've not seen a whole lot of this season just because they really haven't gone to the well when it comes to ground and pound. It's not really been the MO of this offense, but boy, do they look real good doing it right now.
Handoff. Gans, big hole, lowers his shoulder, drives his way forward, close to another 1st down as the tackle is made by Derek Carr.
His defense looking gassed for Penn Trafford. If I'm the Gators, I just keep giving it to number 5 or maybe run a little RPO here.
And again, Gateway on the ground. It's Gans inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. A pickup of 7.
Don't overthink it. Sometimes just lining up, forcing your opponent to try and stop it. And you can see the confidence growing in this Gateway offense. And you see Gans, he is looking to dole out the punishment every play.
And he gets the ball again. Looks right, goes back left, a little dance there, gets to the line of scrimmage before being pulled back. 3 white jerseys are there, including File. Also in on the stop is Butler.
Nothing going there. Now it'll be real interesting. 3rd and about 4. Will they run it again, or will they, in the most crucial moment of this drive, go back to the air, which has certainly been the proclivity for this offense all season long?
Some movement. Looks like the Warriors breached the neutral zone that time, and that's going to set up the Gators 1st and goal inside the 5.
And we've seen that defensive line a little jumpy all evening for Penn Trafford. They haven't called it because they haven't fully breached the neutral zone.
Pro defense, number 75. It's a 5-yard penalty. Results.
But that time, That was a full jump. Bumped into the offensive players, forced them to move. Lured them into it, rather. Easy first down.
Handoff. Gans bounces right into the end zone. He'll go for a gateway touchdown, but there's a flag down as a defensive end for the Warriors got pulled on his way over to Gans, and certainly did his best to make sure the officials saw the hold from the right tackle of the Gateway offensive line.
Holding, offense, number 78, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
Now they're going to get Malik Anderson here. It's a good call. You'll see has the block there and then grabbing right up there in the shoulders.
I don't love that call, to be honest with you. I mean, the hand was a little bit outside, but that certainly seems to be in the realm of something that would have not been called had the ball not been broken to the outside. Now a shovel pass to Gans as he drives his way back towards the 10-yard line. They'll say he gets to the 11.
This is going to be crucial for the Gators, facing some adversity here. Clock winding toward halftime. You got to get 6 points at least here. Can they overcome that holding call?
Second and goal from the 11. Handoff. Gans tried to bounce it to the outside left, but he is met, wrapped, and brought down. Whipple in there on the stop, as is File. And that'll bring up third and goal from the 11.
You've got to go back to the air at this point just because of the down and distance. Try and get a crossing route maybe. See if they do that. Might try to set up the screen once again. We've seen that that is something that the Gators have done effectively at different points in the season.
Kachakas looking right, throwing right, jump ball, and a nice job defensively climbing the ladder. Derek Carr swats that one. Gators looking for the flag to no avail. I think that was a clean defensive play by Derek Carr, and that brings up fourth and goal from the 11.
I do too. Let's take another look. Yeah, just a really good play on the ball. Defender got the head around, hand in front of the receiver. And now a massive play here on fourth down for the Gators. They need points.
So it's fourth and goal, and a timeout taken by the Gateway Gators.
That's a good call. I mean, you want to make sure you've got everyone on the same page here. You got to look at what John Ruane and Penn Trafford defense was going to throw at you. You get a chance now to adjust. These are those little chess piece moments in the game. Only downside now is if you get a stop, Penn Trafford might be able to bleed this clock a little bit. You might not get it back with a whole lot of time left, but that's a bridge you cross, hopefully after you put some points on the board because you got your fourth down play drawn up just the way you want it.
You said chess piece. There's no bell chess piece, right?
I don't think so, no.
Maybe there's one inside of the tower that is the knight.
Sure.
We'll say there is. And there's the bell that we're talking about, and we'll talk about that throughout the evening. Just a remarkable story as that bell dates back to the 1920s and was part of the Trafford-Pitcairn rivalry into the 1950s prior to the Penn Trafford and Gateway mergers. We'll touch on that more as the evening goes on here on fourth and goal from the 11. Toss complete. Dyson Harper, he's met at the 1. He wiggles his way towards the goal line. I think this is going to be turnover on downs at the 1.
Boy, it is. And interestingly enough, I think he landed on top of the defender before he was rolled fully down. He's chatting with the official there. The official seems to have it covered, but take another look. Cuts it upfield. Does he touch the ground? No, he's on top there. If he stretches that ball out, maybe, but they blew the whistle, I think, a hair earlier than they should have.
Now Kuchaka's clearly not happy. And you had a Very good look at that, Vince. That was undoubtedly Dyson Harper was on top of a defender trying to push his way across the goal line, and he may have. And now it's going to be Tassel Whippo, who has a giant hole up the middle. Could he go 99, or will he be caught? He will be caught, but not before he picks up 60 plus.
Man, oh man, those are so deflating for the Gators. You go from having 6 on the board nullified by a holding call, and you get a chance to maybe back your opponent up, and then they just flip the field. They are rolling right now, are the Warriors offensively.
And they'll go to the ground again, running to the right-hand side. This time it's Cheplik who picks up a good chunk on that first down play. It'll be a gain of 8, 2nd and 2.
Gators in real precarious position here. You do not want to go down 3 scores into the half, especially against a team that can run the ball as effectively as Penn Trafford does, because they'll just take the air out of the ball in the second half, and it becomes a numbers game. Hard to come back with that.
Motion man from right to left. Play action. Louver rolling right, tossing to the right, and the pass is incomplete. Over on that right-hand side, Jamison Yurt was the intended receiver, I believe.
Louver's pretty good, but his receivers can't catch a ball. We've seen a few drops tonight. That's another one that should have been caught for a first down. A little bit of zip on that one for a short pass, but gotta catch that. All these guys got gloves these days with the stick-em on it. Look that one in, get out of bounds, keep yourself rolling here. Huh?
One player that has got the ball, Weishar, he has 2 catches, 1 for a first down, 1 for a touchdown. He's split wide to the left as Whipple will take the handoff, trying to run his way to the right, and he's met at the line of scrimmage and won't get any further. That brings up 4th and 2, and a big opportunity here for the Gateway Gators defense to make a stop after Penn Trafford had seized momentum with a stop on one end and then flipped the field on the ensuing play.
And Posey.
With a freshman kicker, this is definitely a full go offensively. Plus, if you're Penn Trafford, you got to believe in your guys with the way they've been running the ball tonight, that you can go pick up that 1.5 yards that you need. I have no doubts. They'll probably draw something up to get that ball into Tasso Whipple's hands.
Timeout called by John Ruane, the Gateway teacher,
Timeout, Penn Trafford.
And the Penn Trafford head coach. You talked about a freshman kicker for the Penn Trafford Warriors. All right, anyway, we're talking about freshman kicker for the Penn Trafford Warriors. They have another kicker, a senior, Alexis Brown. And I know that was in your game notes. It was a great scene last week at Penn Trafford as Alexis Brown scored points. Olivia Bigger for the Plum Mustangs scored points. And that was on the same night that Penn Trafford honored the first WPIAL first woman in the WPIAL to score points.
Yeah, Jody Polk, 30 years ago, became the first female to score a point in WPIAL football. She actually hated a lot of the attention that came with it, did not want it to be highlighted or to be hassled just because she was a woman playing sports. She talked about how she actually got grabbed on the arm after making an extra point by a reporter while she was on the field.
So it's 4th down and 2 here, big play. Whipple takes the direct snap, tries to bounce it right, cuts it back inside, gets close to that first down flag. According to the official over there, it doesn't look like it's a first down.
It does not. I think that, boy, I don't.
So the official on the far sideline walks in from the 38-yard line. The line to gain was inside of the 38 towards the 37, and then the official marks it a first down.
Let's take a look. Maybe Boy, that's close. Maybe that's
turnover on
effort.
downs. Good job, officials. Thank you for having a conversation and coming up with the right call.
First down for the Gators.
What a big stop. See Schultz on the sidelines for the Gators, absolutely beside himself in the best way. And that was huge. The Gators needed that. You can't go down 3 scores this late in the half. Got 1 timeout, 1:12 left. Try and move the ball here a little bit, get some points. See if you can't set up a big play. Yeah, that would have been an egregious miss there had that one been allowed to go through. So thank goodness the officials caught that.
Yeah, I mean, the first down marker was really close to the 27-yard line when the official walked in from the 28 and spotted it there and then said first down as Kachakis' pass intended for S.J. Moorfield short. That brings up 2nd down and 10.
Pass was incomplete.
Gators
Second
offense cold. They haven't been on the field a whole lot tonight. Had a couple drives where they've moved the ball, but a couple 3-and-outs as well. That's a missed opportunity there to pick up some meaningful yards on first down.
Low snap again to Kachakis. Tosses it across the middle. Shedding a tackle is S.J. Moorfield. Running to the near boundary. Leaps over a Warrior at the 35-yard line.
Moorfield.
Close to the first down marker, but not quite yet. And that'll bring up 3rd down and manageable from the 35.
Third down.
You got to pick this up. You got to avoid not picking up and not. You know, if you pass it, it's incomplete and the clock stops. There's still 2 timeouts for the Warriors. They get the ball back with a chance to get points. So it's a big play here.
Draw handoff. Gans getting pulled by one of his offensive linemen.
Over the middle.
They'll say the forward progress is out to the 48, maybe shy of the 38, maybe just shy of that 38. So it'll bring up 4th and about 1 as the clock continues to wind under a minute to go here.
First down.
Clock's down to 31 seconds here. Disregard what you see on your screen. As Gateway calls a timeout, as I say, with 30.5 seconds to go.
Gators. Don't forget we have a great halftime
Now
show
you're in a
tonight.
really weird,
Featuring
ambiguous spot where you're probably not. You're going to have to punt it here, you would think, on your own 37, 30 seconds left. It's risk versus reward. If you turn it over, even with 20-some seconds left, Penn Trafford has 2 timeouts. They can take some shots here. They could potentially get it into field goal range. You could find yourself down 3 scores if you're not careful here. But you can't really. I would not go for it. I don't know what they'll draw up here. That's my 2 cents. But if you get it and you move it that 1 yard, you can sit on it, go into the second half. Worth noting, Penn Trafford going to get the ball first here in the second half with a chance to blow this one open. The Gators defense has done just enough to keep them in the peripheral of this game. Keep that offense out there. They believe they can pick this yard up.
Motion man Mark Knight from left to right. Kachakis, option right, pitches, Gans. He'll get to the first down marker at the 38-yard line for a Gateway first down.
That's a Gator first down.
Boy, was that close.
I mean, it seemed like Kachakis was going to be able to pick it up more so than Gans on the pitch.
Yeah, he kind of got
At their own
pretty much there and then pitched it backwards. Let the Gators get out of bounds. Still 24 seconds. You got to go downfield here. You can't. No screen pass. So.
Little forward pitch again to Gans. Gateway trying to catch the Warriors sleeping, and I think that's going to be the final play of the quarter, or will Gateway clock it here? That's exactly what they'll do. File, heady play, tried to knife his way in there to get underneath the spike. And that'll bring up third down after the shovel pass to Gans, then the spike. So it's 3rd and 5.
You got to take a shot deep here. See if they look Harper's way. He's been consistently sort of the vertical threat for the Gators. Had the 70-yard touchdown last week.
Play action. Kachakis steps out of a tackle from File. Tosses it down the near boundary, and it is intercepted by the Warriors at the 44-yard line with 2 seconds to go here. So the Warriors are going to have a chance to try to air one out.
I think Kachakis meant to just throw that one away, but didn't get it out of bounds. Good job at least getting away from that sack at the beginning of the play. I thought he was going to get walloped here. Well, then just tried to send that one into traffic and hoping something good happened. And more often than not, we see that that generally is not how those end.
So victory formation out there for the Warriors. Louver's going to step under center, take the knee, and that'll be the final play of the second quarter. We go to halftime. Penn Trafford on top of Gateway, 15-0. Certainly not the way the Gators wanted to see the first 24 minutes of action go.
Now they had the opportunity to strike first, came up a little short offensively, and then a couple big defensive miscues, a couple penalties offensively, especially the hold right at the goal line. I think that's probably the biggest mistake of the half for the Gators, taking points off the board and then not being able to convert on that 4th 11, coming up literally inches short from tying, or at least getting points on the board, not tying the game up. And so the Gators got their work cut out for them. This first possession in the second half going to be a big determining factor in how this game goes. If Penn Trafford puts points on the board in that possession, they can take the air out of the ball, probably run this ball effectively enough that the Gators just won't have enough time to build back a 3-score deficit. But if they can get a stop or a turnover and put points on the board, be the first to score in the second half, we got a whole new ballgame.
One thing that I'm really interested in seeing here at halftime, Vince, is will Kachakis show maturity and come out of the locker room with the team on his shoulders, or will he show a lot of pressure that he has faced, not just with, you saw the frustration after, what appeared to be a touchdown not make its way onto the board, and then that's followed up with that interception at the end of the half.
Yeah, he's used to, everything we heard about the 8th grade team is they were a juggernaut. Living was easy. They were rolling over opponents. When you get punched in the mouth, that's when you learn a lot about, your freshman quarterback and your team in general. And he's got to be the one to lead by example. He's the field general down there. We're going to learn a lot about him and a lot about this Gators team here in this second half.
15-0 is your halftime score. Penn Trafford on top of Gateway. We're going to step away, enjoy the marching bands. We'll come back later in halftime to get you set for the third quarter. For Vince Rosso, I'm Adam Gusky. You're tuned into GatewayGatorProductions.com. Set to start half number 2 here in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Battle for the bell. The Gateway Gators taking on the Penn Trafford Warriors. Adam Gusky, Vince Russo on the call for you this evening in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Penn Trafford gets the ball to begin the second half as Lococo will kick into this one. And it will be Derek Carr on the return. No, check that, sits on 11. That's 44. Cheplik on the return, who breaks free down the far sideline. This is not the way the Gators wanted this half to start. Down the far sideline, still Cheplik. He is shouldered to the boundary by Diggs, but not before he gets inside of the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for the Warriors at the 4.
Boy, you hate to say it, but it might be over before it even begins for the Gators in this second half. We talked about this possession being just crucial, not going down 3 scores against a team that can run the ball effectively and play keep away. And they're going to start goal to go after the long return by Cheplik. Absolute disaster for the Gators to start the second half.
Well, Vince, we had plans to talk about defense needs to make a stop, offense needs to get some points, but instead a long return, and barring a catastrophe for Penn Trafford, you've got to assume they're going to put some points on the board here. I formation. There's no motion to a bunch set. Play action. Carr pressured. He's wrapped and brought down at the 6-yard line. Nice defensive play there on the boundary by the Gators.
Yeah, good job not falling for the boot And the play action fake there. Thought the tendency would be to get that ball to Whipple. It was good play design by Penn Trafford, but even better defense for the Gators, who were ready. They read it well, made the stop, good tackling, forcing that ball back, making it just a little bit harder here for Penn Trafford. Still has such great field position to start.
2nd and goal from the 6 as again they'll motion into a tight set. Handoff this time, Whipple left, then cuts it back right. Drives his way forward to about the 3 before he's taken down to the turf. Gators stacking up that line there after a gain of a few. That brings up 3rd and goal.
Got to find a way to get a stop here. Even forcing a field goal would feel like a pretty big win, though that would still make it a 3-score game. Really just not an ideal situation for the Gators here, but at least the defense up to the task on the first few plays. Going to have to do it for a couple more.
Carr, the QB. No motion to backs next to him on either side in the pistol. Running left, cutting it back right into the end zone. He'll go. A flag flies near the line of scrimmage. This may be a holding penalty against the Warriors, as it looks like Dom Smith may have been the guilty party for the Warriors. We'll check in with our referee. Psych.
23. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Well, you read that one perfectly, Adam, and 6 points got taken off the board in the first half for the Gators on a holding call, and it was the motion man, Smith. Here you see the grab right there on Sid Bryant, the talented linebacker for the Gators. And so now it's 3rd and 13 in the goal-to-go situation. And the Gators maybe catching a big break here if they can find a way to get off the field.
Pistol formation yet again. Toss to the right-hand side is complete. And a big stop there made by Gateway's Ken Mbandi. He read the screen coming from right to left, stepped up and made the big hit on Jack Weishar, who has had 2 big catches today thus far for the Warriors, including their first touchdown.
Paid for that 3rd catch there. He got walloped. So the Gators do force field goal attempt. See if they can get a paw on this one, block it, maybe corral it. Special teams plays, anything can happen.
Logan Hunter. The field goal is blocked. It's scooped by the Gators. Vince, you called it. It's scooped up, and there goes Carlos Diggs with the scoop and the score on the blocked field goal for a Gateway touchdown.
Absolute game changer for the Gators. Well-executed block, and then Diggs on top of the ball as soon as it landed. Let's take another look. High snap. Kick was good, or at least had some gusto behind it, it looked like, but we never really got to find out. And Diggs, as soon as he picked it up after S.J. Moorfield blocked it, no doubt about it. And boy, does that change the complexion of this game entirely. 2 minutes ago, we were staring down the barrel at this game possibly feeling like it was over. Now, totally different.
And the PAT, Pile of Cocoa, is up, and it is good. And with 9:20 to play in the 3rd quarter, the Gateway Gators have cut the deficit down to 8 points on a blocked field goal by S.J. Moorfield and the return by Carlos Diggs.
Hey, you'll take it any which way you can get it. Diggs making amends after getting torched on the long passing touchdown in the first quarter. Take another look. Moorfield. Roses to him, getting in front of that ball. And you see, he knows it. Hand was up as soon as Diggs was past the 40-yard line. No one was going to catch him. Wow.
Well, Penn Trafford came out. They punched the Gators in the mouth with a special teams play. The defense rose to the occasion. There was a holding penalty against the Warriors, pretty egregious one by Dom Smith that pushed the Warriors back to the 11-yard line. 2 stops by the Gators, and the Gators blocked the field goal, the scoop and score from the special teams unit, and we've got ourselves a ball game, 15-7 with 9:20 to play, 3rd frame.
This one's so important. Both of these teams with one loss in conference play. Woodland Hills leading against Armstrong tonight. It looks like they and Franklin Regional are safe bets to move to 3-0 in conference play, setting themselves up to be the top two in the conference if those hold serve. And Gators trying to stay in lockstep with those leaders.
Big test here for the Gateway kick coverage team as Cheplick has it again, and this time they are up to the task as Jackson Smith and a gang of other Gateway Gators bring Cheplick down at the 30-yard line. Dyson Harper also in on that stop.
You know, we were talking about it at halftime. Whoever loses this contest with the path they have forward in conference play, you start to think that the loser of this game probably is going to have to hope that the selection committee chooses them for a wild card. Inversely, the team that wins this game probably has the inside track to second or third in the conference based off how the rest of the regular season goes. So can't overstate how important this contest is for both of these teams.
Amari Gans with a big defensive stop there. Whipple nowhere to go, 2nd and 10.
Gans. No gain.
Now we'll see, how does Penn Trafford respond? This is the first time tonight that they have really faced big-time adversity. They were able to get that stop on the Gators' first offensive possession, get off the field, and then from there have played from out in front. Now you sort of tighten up a little bit. You can feel the momentum on the side of the Gators. How do the Warriors respond?
Carr motions to an empty set, runs to the right, and he will be met by Elijah Fisher and brought down, but big yardage there for Carr as he picks up about 8, and that brings up 3rd down and 2.
Fisher. 3rd down, 2.
It just took too long for anyone to get to Carr. You see a little grab there. Maybe didn't get called, but the Gators got to dig deep here. Would really be big to get off the field here. Start to plant those seeds of doubt. Put your offense on the field with a chance to go down and tie this game up.
Carr is the QB in the pistol. He's going to hand off to Whipple, who bounces right and picks up the 1st down, and much, much more for the Warriors into Gators territory. S.J. Moorfield finally makes the tackle at the Gators' 42-yard line. Another big pickup for the Warriors.
Whipple, he just keeps coming at you. He's one of those backs that just runs harder and harder as the game goes on. Reminds me a lot of Kyle DuPill, who the Gators saw early in the season, a couple weeks back in Franklin Regional. Ran for over 200 yards against the Gators. You saw their sloppy tackling. You cannot go high on guys like Whipple. You got to take the legs out from under them because they're just going to keep those legs pumping, and that time it led to some big-time yards after contact.
1st and 10. Carr's going to go to the air, and it is broken up. Jaden Stammer comes over and breaks it up. A flag is down, and it's an illegal shift against the Penn Trafford Warriors. So decision time for Don Hall here. Does he take the play or does he take the yardage? And it looks like he's going to take the yardage.
Illegal shift, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Yeah, I like that play. We've talked about it so much tonight that the Gators defense has been at its best when it's been able to push Penn Trafford back on 1st down and force them to have to try and abandon the run. So that's when Stammer came up with the lone turnover for the Gators on the interception.
Delay handoff, Whipple, big crease over that right tackle spot as he slides his way inside of the 40 to the 39-yard line.
Whipple over right guard.
So he not only negates the yardage from the penalty, he picks up some positive yardage. That brings up 2nd down and 7. And so there's a Gator down with a cramp, and I think that is Harper. No, it's Diggs. Yeah, it is Diggs. Couldn't tell if it was 12 or 21. And let's hope this is just a cramp, as it seemed like he was grabbing at that left calf. Or right calf, rather. Sorry, Vince.
Certainly the body language looks like it's just a cramp. I tell you, if I ran or even tried to run that kick back, I think I would have been cramping too. So not surprising to see number 2 go down.
Well, I feel like at my age I probably could have done it, but that would have been it for the week, not just the night. Taking a look at the Big East Conference and the standings here in the league. Franklin Regional undefeated up at the top of the league. Woodland Hills also undefeated at 2-0. Gateway's 2-1 in conference play. Penn Trafford comes into tonight 1-1. Latrobe 1-2. Armstrong and Kiski both winless in league action.
Well, at last check, Kiski was on top of Latrobe, 15-13. Woodland Hills was on top, 15-6 over Armstrong. Those are your big conference matchups. Franklin Regional taking care of business against Fox Chapel out of conference. And then, of course, here, the Battle of the Bell.
Option to the right-hand side as Carr takes it towards the 35-yard line and then gets shoved back. That brings up third down and about 3.
Another big opportunity here for the Gators, although this feels like, unless there's a big loss on the play, likely 4-down territory for Penn Trafford unless they want to try and pin the Gators deep.
Third and 3. Carr, the quarterback of the pistol, hands off Whipple. Big crease. He's got the first down and much more inside of the 25 down to the 21-yard line.
Whipple, the ball carrier.
Gators just don't have an answer for him right now. Whipple running harder and harder as this game goes on. And the holes have been there. Penn Trafford just controlling the line of scrimmage right now, moving bodies off the line of scrimmage. And so Whipple not getting touched until he's already 5-6 yards downfield. Gators again back on their heels, need a stop to try and keep this at a 1-score game.
Timeout taken here as another Gator is down over here on the near side. Over near the near numbers at the 20. And that is Jaden Stammer, the interception machine for the Gateway defense. Well, let's hope for Stammer it's just some cramps, because we saw Carlos Diggs. The cramps turned into, well, for decorum's sake, we'll just say some gastro issues, where he is now seated on the bench trying to hydrate and get some electrolytes into him.
And though Penn Trafford not a big-time passing team, if you're down your top 2 options in the secondary, they might try and target and pick on backup players at those positions.
Taking a look at other conferences, including the Allegheny 6, where you see Bethel Park, South Fayette, and Upper St. Clair all undefeated at 1-0 atop their league, while Peters Township, Moon, and Baldwin are all 0-1 within conference play. But look at that, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, 5-1 up at the top of that league.
Don't sleep on the Moon Tigers, up 14-7 on Peters Township at the moment. That is a loaded conference.
And those were teams that met in the playoffs last year in the second round, as Whipple runs to the right, and he is hit, wrapped, and brought down by Mark Knight after a gain of just 2.
And now Knight down with some potential cramping the Gators defense, which has spent a considerable amount of time on the field tonight with the way that this ground and pound offense operates for Penn Trafford, and a war of attrition being won by the Warriors right now.
We've seen a lot of Mark Knight on both sides of the ball, so he has gotten extra action. We haven't seen Casey Carter at all in the reserve tight end spot. So we've touched on the Big East, we've touched on the Allegheny 6, now the Northeast Conference, where Pine Richland, Penn Hills, both undefeated at the top of that league, with North Hills and Plum both 1-0. Shaler and Fox Chapel are winless.
North Hills, the big story in 5A, a team that brought a lot back from last year, sort of flew under the radar, but have been very good. They took Pine Richland to the wire, lost that game by 5. Tonight, Penn Hills, Pine Richland doing battle. That's a game the last few years that has decided supremacy in that conference. Right now, at last check, Pine Richland was up 21-7. I want to revisit some of those 5A scores. Upper St. Clair up 7-0 on South Fayette in another big-time matchup. 2 6-0 teams. 5A, just so much fun. There's every week just great battles. It's actually now Upper St. Clair has put another 7 spot on the board, make it 14-0.
Did you say 7-0?
I
still
did.
stuck on that soccer match you did the other night?
I am.
I want to thank you very much for stepping in. Late notice. Did a great job in relief of Spencer Witt, who will be on the call next Friday night for our football game at Woodland Hills. It'll be Spencer and I down in Turtle Creek. Taking a look ahead here on GatewayGatorProductions.com. We've got boys soccer on Tuesday against Central Catholic, then the football game at Woodland Hills next Friday. Our final game of the week for the fall season is Thursday, October 17th.
Second down.
Against the McKeesport Tigers, that girls volleyball match, and then 2 football games to wrap up the fall regular season. At home against Latrobe in conference action, and then little interclassification matchup to wrap up the regular season on Friday, October 25th, as it'll be the Hempfield Spartans coming to town. Second down and about 8 as Whipple bounces right. Found a crease, picked up positive yardage, but it'll be third down
Ball carrier.
inside of the 15 to the 14-yard line.
Steady as it goes for Penn Trafford, just picking up handfuls of yards and staying ahead of the sticks. Again, in a third and short, 4-down territory. I don't suspect they'll go for another field goal try if they come up short on this one after the result of the last one. Let's see if they even get to that point. The way they're running the ball, 3 yards hasn't been too difficult for them tonight.
3rd and 3. Louver in the pistol. Hands off. Whipple pushes his way forward towards the 10 for a first down, and it'll be 1st and goal.
This is exactly what Penn Trafford wants to do, impose their will.
For Penn Trafford, first down.
Trying to put points up on the board. You can see this clock is also continuing to wind. We're already 2/3 of the way through the 3rd quarter. The Gators offense will have its work cut out for it when it does get the ball back.
Carr now the QB, runs left. And then after a gain of maybe 1,
Carr on the carry.
inside the 10 towards the 9 before he's shoved back. Jackson Smith said he got the ball, but they'll say Carr had his forward progress stalled prior to that.
Second down.
I appreciate the effort by Carr there, trying to stay upright, shake the shoestring tackle, but boy, you stand up straight like that, you're inviting someone to catch you right in between the numbers with a helmet. He got through that relatively unscathed, but might just want to go down on that one.
Mover now the QB in the pistol. So motion a man from left to right. Handoff again, Whipple. Whipple lowers the shoulders, spins his way towards the 7 before he is driven back. And this will bring up 3rd and goal.
Stop by Bryant.
Job there.
Third
S.J.
down.
Moorfield leading the charge, and then a host of Gators coming in and bottling things up. See if Penn Trafford's tempted to try and throw into a tight window here. 3rd and 8, or they try and pick up a few yards here and go for it on 4th. Empty set, but they might still try to run.
Straight drop back. Louver tosses right, complete to Whipple. Whipple bouncing off of one of his own blockers, and that will stall his progress at around the 4-yard line, where it'll be 4th and goal.
Again, the Gators have a chance.
Stop by
Good read on this. Whipple able to make one miss, though. Sid Bryant, not too often does he miss. That was a big difference maker. Bryant not being able to come off that tackle would have resulted in little to no gain had he been able to make that tackle, force what would be likely another passing situation now. Playbook opens up a little bit with the ball at the 3-yard line.
Luca Butler, the offensive lineman for the Penn Trafford Warriors, gets an assist on that tackle for the Gateway defense as he and Whipple collided. And John Ruane will allow the play clock to go down to 1 second, and he will call a timeout here on 4th and goal. Haven't touched on it yet. John Ruane, Gateway teacher. I did mention it once earlier, but there are 3 Gateway teachers and a Gateway staff member all on that Penn Trafford sideline. And that is quite remarkable how Penn Trafford has, and they have teachers that teach at Woodland Hills, obviously the trio of teachers here at Gateway plus a staff member. So they are certainly not shy about bringing in coaches from other school districts.
That staff has done some work. Won the WPIAL and PIAA in 2021. Had a couple, by their standards, down years, getting bounced out of the first round of the playoffs the last few years. Trying to get back into title conversation.
Jack Miller will now attempt a field goal. This one will be a 20-yard field goal attempt from the right hash. And this field goal is up and good. And that puts the Warriors back on top by 2 scores.
Good composure there by the Warriors. Good trust. Stepping into that one. Putting the 3 spot on the board. Took some time to do it. So not a total abject disaster for the Gators, but you fall behind 2 scores again, and now you hope to try and get this ball moving offensively. It was special teams that did it the last time. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time the Gators are going to touch the ball offensively here, pending the kick return. Certainly the Gators would take a return touchdown here, but assuming that that might not happen, the offense has had a lengthy stay on the sidelines.
Over 10 minutes since that third quarter began with a long kickoff return for the Penn Trafford Warriors. Michael Cheplick, and that was all for naught because Gateway blocked the field goal attempt. It was S.J. Moorfield with the block and Carlos Diggs with the scoop and score to cut the deficit down to 15-7. Penn Trafford with a protracted drive to answer back takes the lead up to 11. And like you said, here comes the kick return team for Gateway. Let's see what they can do. Is this one a bouncer that will bounce into a kneeling Sid Bryant's hands at the 29-yard line?
Good play by Bryant. That ball
down by the Gators.
Bouncing all over the turf. Just get in front of it like an infielder playing baseball. Get your mitts on it. Stay low to the ground and make sure that you come up with possession. We talked about right before we went into the halftime break, how will Elvis Kuchakis, the freshman, respond here in the second half? Had a couple overthrows, didn't look quite as crisp as he has in this season thus far. He's had some real highlights last week, certainly being the brightest with the 5 touchdown passes. What can he do here with his team down?
Kuchakis pulls it out of the belly of Gans, tosses to S.J. Moorfield. He's got 3 white jerseys to try to beat and still picks up decent yardage from the 30 out to the 35. So that's 2nd down and 5 on that pickup.
Take that every play. Moorfield tried to make a few miss, and at some point you just got to lower the shoulders and try and go forward. He did that well enough to set in motion a 2nd and medium.
Hand off. No, check that. Nice play action by Kuchakis as he runs to that left-hand side, and he knew he was going to get walloped if he continued to run, so he slides down, and that textbook slide.
Yeah.
Each slide has gotten a little bit better than the previous one since that ankle injury that could have been catastrophic back at Kiski 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was ugly. The turf monster got a few people that evening, Kuchakis being the worst victim of them all. Luckily, it wasn't out for too long of a stretch, and Sid Bryant, as we talked about in other broadcasts, played really well in his stead.
Kuchakis flushed to the right, tossing low. Does Whipple pick it? The officials are shaking their head yes. There will be an interception for the Penn Trafford Warriors.
Just hasn't been the night for the offense, especially the passing game. Credit to Penn Trafford, very, very seldom have we seen receivers open all night for Kuchakis, and even when there have been moments of separation, the pressure that the front seven have been able to get on the quarterback, he has not had a lot of time to make decisions, had to flee the pocket yet again.
Handoff, Whipple to the right. Finds a crease, Craig Schultz brings him down from behind after a gain of 10.
This feels like gut check time as we head into the fourth quarter. Can the Gators get off the field again? A score here would most certainly put this game likely out of reach with how tough it's been to get points on the board for the Gators.
Disregard the time you see on your screen. We've had some issues with our scoreboard connection the last couple of weeks. We're trying to right that ship live and in progress, but it is the end of the third quarter. Penn Trafford on top of Gateway 18-7. Adam Gusky, Vince Russo on the call for you here on GatewayGatorProductions.com. Don't forget, next week we'll be down at the Wolverina as the Gators take on the Wolverines in a Big East Conference matchup. But we've got 12 minutes of action still remaining. Defense has to come up big here, get a stop, and Gateway offense has to start to show up because save the first drive of the game, which the Gators ended up turning it over on downs, and a big drive all the way down to the goal line, to which you and I and a lot of people up here in the press box thought was a touchdown pass to Dyson Harper, ended up being a turnover on downs inside of the 1 yard line. And Penn Trafford flipped the field very quickly on a big run up the gut by Whipple that took it inside of the 40.
It's been those little difference makers coming up just short that has taken points off the board for the Gators yet again and has led to this 11-point deficit. The defense, all in told, has played well tonight for the Gators. They've made some crucial stops. They've gotten some crucial turnovers, forced field goal attempts, and then obviously the block return for the touchdown. But offensively, like we talked about, the Gators started to ride the ship for a while, but tonight it's just been a rough outing for the offensive unit.
To the ground go the Warriors, and it's Louver, the QB, on the QB keeper, and he has been quite successful at that recently as Elijah Fisher makes the stop. And it is 1st and 10 for the Warriors at the 33.
Gators, talking about their offense just a little bit more, they were, over the past 4 weeks, averaging 33 points scored. Obviously held well under that average tonight.
Run to the left, it's Whipple, driving his way inside of the 30 to around the 28-yard line.
And on the other end, we talked about early in the contest, Penn Trafford, in their wins this season, they sit 4-2, and their 4 wins, allowing just 8 points defensively a game, and they are right in line with that. The Gators just with that 7th spot on the board.
High snap, handoff to Whipple, bouncing right. Has a gaping hole, but there's flags all over the place as Whipple's going to run it to the end zone for a touchdown. But this one isn't going to count.
There was a pretty blatant hold. If we get another look at this one, you'll see it right along the line of scrimmage that was impossible to miss.
Offense, number 10, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay.
Right there, yeah, number 10. A hold on Mark Knight. Nick Lasky, the tight end, the guilty culprit. That one was impossible to miss.
So instead of a touchdown run for Tasso Whipple, it's going to be 2nd down and 15 from the 38-yard line. Louver hands off. Whipple found a crease and picks up a handful.
Whipple over the middle.
Jackson Smith in on the tackle.
Stopped by
Just not going to win many games when you're giving up a half a dozen per carry. And
third down.
see if the Warriors go pass here on 3rd and 11. I'm not so sure with the ball inside the 35. You don't run it again. Try and pick up a half a dozen and get yourself to 4th and medium and either try a longer field goal or run it again. The way this offense has been humming, needing 10 yards on 2 carries is not an impossible task.
3rd and 11. Louver looks right, throws right, pass low and incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
Intended for Nick Punko, 6'2" sophomore. That'll bring up 4th down and 11 and decision time for John Ruane.
Certainly a bit of a break there. They had the receiver breaking open. Probably should have been a catch. Ball a little bit low, but that's one that Ponko looked like he could have secured. So Gators catch a break and see what happens now. Looks like they're keeping that offense on the field.
Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that we see a pooch kick here by the QB Louver. Now he's going to drop back and he is going to throw that football, and that pass is complete for a Penn Trafford first down at the 20-yard line. Sliding down, pulling that one in, Owen Giese, the 6'3" senior.
Owen Giese. First
Cuts
down.
right across the face of the defensive back, Amari Gans. Boy, does that feel like a backbreaker here with 9.5 left. This clock going to continue to run. And again, your back is totally against the wall. Anything more than a field goal makes this an 18 point game, 3 scores. That's a lot to ask with this clock continuing to run.
Broken play this time as Carr has nowhere to go. He's brought down about a yard shy in the backfield.
I mean, if you use the clock here in your Penn Trafford, even if you don't pick up another first down, you get this down between 6 to 6.5 minutes left. Kick a field goal, make it a 14-point game with anywhere between 6 and 7 minutes left. It's a tough task when this offense for the Gators hasn't spent much time on the field tonight, hasn't gotten into any sort of rhythm. Really feel like you need a turnover. Try and get yourself that spark that you need.
Brandon Long, offensive lineman, getting stretched out. 6'3", 235-pound senior two-way lineman for the Penn Trafford Warriors. Carlos Diggs, by the way, for the Gateway Gators, continues to sit on the bench on this near sideline. He has taken off his shoulder pads and jersey at this point, being tended to, not any emergency situation, but tended to by a couple of Monroeville paramedics, the athletic trainer, and there's actually a gentleman from the Penn Trafford sideline, a fan, who obviously has some sort of medical training that has come out there to take a look at Diggs as well. So, of course, our thoughts are with him as he, is in no way, shape, or form, in any distress, but clearly warrants some attention at this point.
Second down. 11.
Flag comes in as there were 12 men in the huddle for the Penn Trafford Warriors on that second down and 11.
Tuition, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, second.
So every now and then, Vince, we have an opportunity to talk about how the sausage is made here in our broadcast. In the first half, you may have heard a very loud horn coming through your speakers. What happened was there was a soloist for the Penn Trafford band, a trombone player, who had a wireless microphone on his trombone. He was warming up for halftime. He turned on his wireless microphone, and it happened to be on the same frequency as our official's wireless microphone, and that's why you heard very loud horns blowing, not just through the PA system here at Pete Anna Marino Stadium, but also on our TV broadcast. 2nd down and 7. Big hole for Whipple. Leaps over a defender, takes it inside of the 10, and it's 1st and goal for the Penn Trafford Warriors as Tasso Whipple continues to rack it up.
Gators defense just looks gassed at this point. They've given everything that they've had to try and keep this at the margin that it's at. As you see Mark Knight getting stretched out again by Sid Bryant this time.
And he has had cramping issues throughout this second half. I saw him come out earlier in this drive. He was over here being stretched out by one of the athletic training staff members for the Gateway Gators. And we saw Carter come in. So we take a look what's in the rearview mirror and what's ahead here for the Gateway Gators. Next week at Woodland Hills, before we're back home for a couple of games against Latrobe and the Hempfield Spartans to wrap up the regular season. Big games coming up. If Gateway wants to make their way back into the playoffs, the defending conference champions probably are not in a position, if this game goes the way it looks, to necessarily make the playoffs.
It starts to become really murky for the Gators, especially they're going to be facing a Woodland Hills team that is playing some of its best football of the season at the right time, coming down the stretch, and they have title aspirations. They are looking like they're going to move to 3-0 tonight alongside Franklin Regional. Playoffs are far from sure thing for the Gators.
Whipple bouncing it left, slides out of a tackle and gets shouldered to the boundary by Amari Gans.
Whipple around left end.
As you look at it, you're going to have 3-0 Franklin Regional, 3-0
Stop by Gans.
Woodland Hills, 2-1 Penn Trafford, with 2 of those 3 teams you having lost the tiebreaker to head-to-head. Latrobe looks like they're fading. They were getting blown out at last check, 36-13 to Kiski.
Another team that really has a tough time scoring the football.
They do, so might be holding your breath for a wild card if you're the Gators.
Warriors motion to a one-back set as Carr runs left. Carr lowers his shoulder, drives his way into the end zone for a Penn Trafford touchdown. And with just under 8 minutes to go, barring a miraculous comeback for the Gators, this one may be in the books for the Warriors.
Well, it was Sid Bryant who orchestrated it, but we did see the Gators put a barrage of points up late against Franklin Regional. So they did come up short in that one, but they got real close to getting back into that one. You hate to put yourself in a position where you would need something like that, but this offense has shown the ability to put points up quickly.
Flag comes in as Gateway again breaches the neutral zone on the PAT attempt. We saw Penn Trafford.
Approachment, defense, that's half the distance to the goal, retry.
So in the first half, Penn Trafford went for 2 in a similar circumstance. Looks like this time they're going to keep the PAT unit out as Logan Hunter will attempt the point after touchdown. Hunter was the kicker who had his field goal blocked for the lone score of the game for the Gators on the Carlos Diggs scoop and return. PAT for Hunter is up and in. And just under 8 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. The Warriors have taken a 25-7 lead on the Gateway Gators.
It's been a complete performance for Penn Trafford tonight. They have been the more physical team. They've made the big plays when they've needed them the most. Certainly that big 4th down completion on the last drive. The catalyst on that touchdown drive. But a lot of it has just been winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. There's been no rhythm for the passing game for the Gators, no time to really establish it, to get that ball downfield. Everything's been sort of bottled up to screens and pitch plays, shovel passes.
Jack Miller kicking off here. He has the field goal of record tonight for the Warriors as that kickoff kicks a tips off the hands of Sid Bryant, and it is scooped up by the Gators' deep return man, Terrence Cole. Big contact, ball comes loose. Looks like the Warriors may have scooped up the football, and they do. After the big hit, the fumble recovery by Jesse Lisbon.
Recovered by
Cole just trying to make something happen, but that play took so long to develop. He had no support, and then right here, bang, just gets lit up by number 27, Jamison Yurt, the 6', 210-pound linebacker on special teams there, making the big play and forcing the turnover.
So the Gators not able to get the offense on the field. It's been a very restful second half for the Gateway offense. But a busy evening here in the second half for the Gateway defense as Tasso Whipple will take this handoff running left.
Whipple around left end.
He's going to sleep well tonight is Tasso Whipple. As he picks up 2 there, and it's second down and 8.
He's their guy, 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns last season. Came into this contest with a little over 1,100 yards from scrimmage and 8 touchdowns, well on his way to besting his numbers from last season. And yeah, hard to believe we're at the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter and the Gateway offense has touched the ball only once in this second half.
Handoff, Whipple running right, driving his way forward. Heading towards the 10, where it'll be first and goal from the 11-yard line.
Stopped by 15. Bryant, first down.
Just a heavy dose of Whipple here in the second half, salting this game away, and he just continues to make things happen. He's had some big gashes, but by and large, it's just been 6 to 8 yards a carry, moving the chains consistently, keeping the clock moving, steady as she goes.
Louver not anticipating the snap as a flag flies, which will negate the play, and it'll be false start against the Warriors, pushing them back 5 yards, so it'll be first and 15.
Offense, it's a 5-yard penalty.
From the 16, line to gain is the 1.
We talked about it. The Gators, no rest in this Big East. They're going to have to go from this contest to a Woodland Hills team that might be one of the fastest in the WPIAL.
Well, undoubtedly they have the fastest player in the WPIAL, the defending WPIAL 100-meter dash champion in Scoop Smith. Is a big hit there on Carr by Roberson Louis June.
Take another look. Not a whole lot developing there, and then boom! All of that 6 feet, 265 pounds of Louis June coming down right on top of Carr, but it was the Gators that got the worst of it, as it looks like Sid Bryant a little shaken up after that one.
Or is that Craig Schultz? It is Schultz.
Saw the 5.
And while Craig Schultz plays defensive end at 6'2", 225, Sid Bryant plays linebacker at 6'3", 205. So you see the 5, you see a similar build. Not too far off there, Vince.
Yeah, guys that are a little tall, a little lanky, but incredibly athletic and incredibly physical. No, it's not going the way you would like for the Gators tonight. The defense has still shown some flashes, produced a takeaway. But full credit, full marks to this Penn Trafford offense. They have just moved the ball methodically, gotten just enough big plays, the broken defensive coverage for the long touchdown pass early in the first quarter. Couple huge runs, including that long run where they were bottled up on their own 1-yard line, and Whipple was able to flip the field to around 40-yard line of the Gators. It's been the big difference. And as we've talked about ad nauseum, just being able to keep this Gators offense off the field. Sometimes the best defense is a really good offense.
Second and 14 from the 15 for the Warriors. Handoff, Whipple bounces it left. Finds some room over there before he's shouldered to the boundary by S.J. Moorfield.
Whipple on the carry.
I'll say Whipple's out of bounds at the 9. Hard-earned yardage there. And it is the third down and about 8.
Just continues to chug along. Nothing flashy about it.
Run left for Carr. Runs into a mass of humanity.
Carr on the carry.
Body's getting bent in
Now
every
bring up
direction as
fourth down.
Carr is brought down to the turf. Roberson Louis-June with a big shove, pushing Carr back.
Seeing a good bit of pile-ups tonight. Lots of collisions in this one. Two teams that love to hit. Penn Trafford's been dishing it out most of the evening, but it hadn't been without its moments where the Gators have gotten their licks in as well.
John Ruane using the clock to his advantage here. Will take a timeout with 1 second to go on the play clock, facing this fourth down and about
Timeout.
6
Warriors.
from the 7.
I wonder if they might trot the field goal unit back out. Did so on the right hash.
As a reminder, we ask
around
that
the same
non-players
spot.
remain off the field at all times, including at the end of the game tonight.
Again, Vince, next week will be at the Wolverine. It'll be Spencer Witt and I on the call for you. It'll be my final call of the regular season. And then it'll be you and Josh Urish for October 18th and October 25th on those football games. And Spencer Witt will be on the call, hopefully for the soccer match on Tuesday and the following Thursday for the volleyball match as well.
Lot to look forward to. But unfamiliar territory for the Gators and their fans. Not usually this time of year, you're starting to think about who you might face in the postseason, anticipating a home playoff game. We've seen so many of those in recent memory. Almost certainly if the Gators punch their ticket, their first, or their path entirely will be on the road. Have their work cut out for them after this one, especially with Woodland Hills next week. That's going to be, both teams get up for that one every year.
Louver, play action, looks left, throws left, touchdown pass, second TD of the game for Jack Weissar.
Pass is complete.
And that is the nail in the coffin. Penn Trafford stretching their lead to 24 points with the PAT coming up.
Warriors.
Nice ball, but just too easy there. Receiver comes back to the ball, and Weissar had himself a real solid night tonight. 5 receptions, a couple touchdowns. Whatever Penn Trafford's wanted to do offensively, it seems like they've found success doing so.
Yeah, there have been a couple times where the Gators' defense has come up big, but those were few and far between. Obviously, we saw another interception by Jaden Stammer tonight. That was a big defensive stop. The Gators with the big defensive stop on the first drive of the second half that led to the field goal attempt that was ultimately blocked and returned by Carlos Diggs for the touchdown. But that seems like it was a long time ago as Penn Trafford has stepped out to this 32-7 lead with just over 4 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter.
17 unanswered points after the Gators were able to get that touchdown on the board. If you're a Warriors fan, you've got to feel really good about how your team responded. You could tell the momentum had swung quickly over to the Gators at that point, and Penn Trafford stayed the course, stayed composed, and In a few minutes, they'll be ringing that victory bell.
It'll be heading back to Harrison City, where the Penn Trafford Warriors will hold it for a year. Gateway has had it for the last 2 seasons. Earlier we talked about that being part of the rivalry between Pitcairn and Trafford from the 1920s to the 1950s. 1954 was the last Battle of the Bell between Pitcairn and Trafford prior to the mergers of Gateway and Penn Trafford. For 2 years, folks knew where the bell was. And then the
Free
bell
kick
kind
out
of
of bounds on the kicking team. Gateway will take it at the 35.
The bell was kind of forgotten about and disappeared until 2012 when police were called to a fraternity party at Teal College. They go into the fraternity house and they find a bell inside of the fraternity house that ends up being the Trafford Pitcairn Victory Bell. And back in 2012, they renewed the Battle of the Bell between now Gateway and now Penn Trafford. Kachakis tosses it deep down the field. Sliding catch by Wade Lewis.
Gators lead the Victory Bell series all-time 8-5. The overall series 13-11. But Warriors going to take a bite out of that, add one more to their column after tonight.
Play action, Kachakis tosses to Gans. Gans down the near sideline. Nifty footwork as he steps out of bounds at around the 41-yard line. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Nice job, able to stop on a dime, sidestep a couple would-be tacklers, get out of bounds.
Another screen set up to Gans. He's got blockers out in front of him. Inside of the 30 where he's finally driven out of bounds. Nice pickup there. And good blocking by the Gators. Chase Gabriel, amongst others, out there paving the road.
Just trying to get a little momentum heading into next week. Get a little confidence back on the board for this offense.
Kachakis hitches, tosses, caught by S.J. Moorfield inside of the 20. So the Gators will have the ball 1st and 10 inside the red zone at the 18.
Nice pump fake there and then little toe tap. You see the foot is down as Moorfield sees that one in. Absolutely a catch and a real nice one at that.
Straight drop back out of the shotgun. Kachakis tosses S.J. Moorfield in the flat. Runs to the far boundary. Inside of the 10. He'll be brought down after picking up a 1st down. Where it would have been 1st and goal, but there was holding in the open field against the Gators, one of their receivers with a downfield block.
Yeah, it's going to be on Julian Dancier. Another Gator down on the field. It's Moorfield. Hopefully just some cramping late in this one, but another penalty at a crucial moment for the Gators nullifies what otherwise was a really nice play. You'll see Dancier with the green gloves there. The green gloves are a nice touch, but they stand out. So if you're going to hold, maybe don't be the one wearing the bright colored gloves. See what happened here to Moorfield at the end of this play as he's still down. I didn't see anything that looked overly injurious.
Looks like our referee has something to add to it as well. So holding against the Gators. Which will negate the vast majority of this nice play by S.J. Moorfield. Talked about it earlier. He's wearing 4 tonight, Kenny Lewis's usual number, but Lewis is out for the season. S.J. usually wears number 3, but obviously some issue with the gray unis for the Gators and that number 3 jersey.
Push the Gators back to the 20 after they were humming along. See if they can overcome that penalty.
First and a dozen. Kachakis to the air. Tosses it to the receiver on short side right.
If he looked the other way, he would have had Harper with a blocker in front. You'll see right here. Harper put his hands on his helmet saying, oh man, it was open.
Instead it was Jaden Stammer with just a 2-yard gain, so it's 2nd and 10 now from the 18. The line to gain obviously the 8. As Kachakis tosses it off this time to Harper, who gets to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or 2 to the 16 before he is tossed back.
Harper showing some frustration. He was so open on the last play, and this time tried to get into him in the same position, and Gans maybe missed an opportunity to lay a block there that could have opened up things a little bit for Harper, but credit where it's due. Then Trafford flocking to the ball, sure tackling all night tonight. That time, real nice tackle by Yurt.
Kachakis tossing to the end zone. Tipped twice by Penn Trafford Warriors to keep it away from Dyson Harper, who had 2 chances at it, and that'll bring up 4th down and 8.
Nice ball, maybe hangs just a little bit, but Harper goes up, try and high point that one, and just can't come away with it. Nice play there right at the end to get the hand in there by Tyler Boss without making contact with the receiver and drawing a DPI call.
So it's 4th down and 8 here for the Gateway offense. Obviously, they're going to keep the offense on the field with 2:05 to play, a 25-point deficit. Kachakis looking left, throwing left, finding a receiver in Amari Gans, I think, out of the backfield. And they will say it's a Gateway TD.
Gans with his 11th on the season, so good at catching the ball out of the backfield. Saw him catch a few screens. Gators gonna go for 2 here, why not? A chance to work on some of those plays.
So there's 2 minutes to play here. Gateway finds themselves down by 19. 2-point conversion here makes it 17. And that will go nowhere as File finds himself in the backfield and makes the stop on Elvis Kachakis.
And Jamison Yurt in there as well. Yurt is having a big second half. Was the one that jarred the ball loose. And Terrence Cole tried to return it on special teams, generated a turnover in a short field that led to points for Penn Trafford. That time in the backfield as well, helping to blow that 2-point play up. Well, the Gators get some offensive points for the end of this one. After not seeing the field all that much in this second half, Penn Trafford really took the air out of the ball and put together long, methodical drives. One of the few teams that really still lines up that way and does that. We saw that the Moon Tigers in the playoffs last year. They had a 10-minute drive in that contest. Similar shades from the Warriors here.
You say the Warriors take the air out of the football. We're coming up on 9:30, 2.5 hours into this football game, and there's still 2 minutes remaining. We were commenting last week about how long the game ended up going because both teams were passing the ball a whole heck of a lot, and Gateway more especially in the second half when they had an opportunity to try to take some air out of the football themselves. But obviously here in the second half, when the Gateway offense has been on the field, they have done their best to pass the ball and try to get scores themselves. And there's been, a smattering of injuries throughout this second half as well that has slowed down the clock, especially on the Gateway side with cramps with all those two-way players. As this onside kick attempt is covered up well by Ethan Septak, 6-foot senior two-way lineman. They didn't even put a hands team guy up there. It was just Septak one of the guys up front who covers it up.
You had mentioned some of the injury stoppages. I think that's really what ground this game to a bit of a halt. Can't imagine that Penn Trafford will air it out here, or that the Gators, we'll see if they use those 3 timeouts or if they're content to see this one come to an end as Penn Trafford in the victory formation.
Louver takes the knee, and with exactly 2 minutes to go, you can manage the clock properly to kill the clock with the knees. So the victory bell headed back to Harrison City for the first time since 2021. Gateway winning last year and the year previous here in Monroeville. But it will be in Harrison City, home of the Penn Trafford Warriors, for at least 1 year, from 2024 till these two teams meet again in 2025, and that game will be played at Penn Trafford High School.
Down by the quarterback.
We lament, especially in this region, rivalries being done away with at the altar of money and corporate interests at the collegiate level. It's so fun that so many of these rivalries have remained unscathed at the high school level. I think this is one of the really, really awesome ones in this region. Tonight's contest wasn't quite as close tonight, but we've seen some real awesome matchups between these two teams in the past, and the last couple years included.
And they taken, and that will do it.
And that'll do it. That's the game here at Gateway. The final score, Penn Trafford 32, Gators 13.
32-13, Penn Trafford defeating the Gateway Gators here in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. The bell will go to Harrison City and the Gateway Gators. They've got some work to do going into next week, Vince. They've got to figure out how to get some more consistent offense, and their defense is going to have a very tough test against a very, very talented passing attack with the Woodland Hills Wolverines.
If they're down one of their best defensive backs in Carlos Diggs next week, that's only going to amplify the difficulties that they're going to face. The Gators got to get healthy. They have been ravaged by injury throughout the season. Tonight, a physical contest, a tough Penn Trafford team. They lost some bodies tonight as well. So it's a tough road ahead for the Gators. The postseason, it's going to be a tough aspiration at this point for the Gateway Gators. They've got the horses to get in that race and get it done, but they're going to have to dig deep and figure some stuff out.
Yeah, right now the postseason is not assured for this Gateway Gators team, a team that a year ago were the champions in the Big East Conference. Some bright notes, obviously the blocked field goal by S.J. Moorfield and the scoop and score by Carlos Diggs. You touched on Diggs and, the question of will we see him next week. We saw the paramedics from Monroeville taking a look at him late in this game, and in fact he was put on a stretcher and taken away, fully conscious, seemed more precautionary than anything. His mom was with him. She didn't seem to be overly concerned, but when you find a player who has some gastric issues, following some cramping issues, seemed like they were checking his blood pressure, I think more than anything they want to make sure he gets hydrated, gets healthy, and is ready to at least get back to school next week and hopefully play some football next Friday.
Yeah, certainly, he's in the front of our thoughts, and we hope that he's well in all capacity, playing in the game or not next week. You hate to see guys go down with injuries of any kind. Certainly the Gators have had a myriad of those this season. It's been a tough season for them from that standpoint, not even having Kenny Lewis from the jump. So certainly we hope that Diggs is feeling better even now that he's been removed from the stadium for a little bit.
One thing I wanted to point out, Vince, in that first half, the Gateway offense was able to move the ball on the ground, and that was the first consistent drive we saw Gateway be able to really pound the rock.
Yeah, and unfortunately they had to get away from it because of the early deficit and getting into a hole, but certainly Amari Gams has been the catalyst for this offense this season. And I don't anticipate that changing. 11 touchdowns now through 7 games. As he goes, the Gators go, and hopefully you get him back on track next week and you get out in front, get a lead, and be able to see him work the ball a little bit more on the ground.
Well, the Warriors are going to ring that bell, and that'll do it for our coverage this evening here in Monroeville. will be at the Wolf Arena next week. The short trip down to Turtle Creek as the Gateway Gators take on the Woodland Hills Wolverines in another one of those long-standing rivalries here between Gateway and their long-standing rival teams, Penn, Trafford, and Woodland Hills. Vince, that'll do it for tonight. Your final thoughts.
Gators ran into a team that was hungry, motivated, and might be playing their best football of the season. After a couple tough losses early in the year for Penn Trafford, they really look like they're settling into the season well, and they're going to be tough. They've got some big games coming up against the heavyweights within the Big East. So look for them to make a little bit of noise. They might surprise a few folks. They've sort of flown under the radar with a couple early season losses, but this is a good Penn Trafford team.
32-13 your final score. Gateway licking their wounds, heading to Woodland Hills next week, hopefully to get a victory for Penn Trafford. They look to stay on a roll after winning tonight's game over the Gateway Gators. For Vince Russo and our entire crew, I'm Adam Gusky. Thanking you for joining us here in Monroeville. It was homecoming and the Battle of the Bell, and Penn Trafford reigns on that Gateway parade.